I'm 43 years old.
I'm 38.
I'm 32.
I first started when I was like 70s.
I think my brother found a skateboard out front of somebody's house at one point, and it was a little metal wheeled skateboard. Brought it home, and I guess we stole it, and we just kind of started skating around on it, and down the sidewalk, up the neighbor's driveway, and there was actually a set of banks up at a shopping center near us, and I think we actually took the thing up there and tried to ride it on the banks, the little slippery metal wheels.
The culture.
The culture for skateboarding when I started was backyard ramps, 8 foot tall with 6 inches or a foot of vert. Street skating was not really started yet.
We'd wake up at like 7 o'clock in the morning, sun's already up, and Barrett would come out in his pajamas with like a bowl of cereal. And we had all these ramps set up across the street, just like a quarter pipe and a couple of launch ramps or whatever. And he'd be sitting out there eating his bowl of cereal, sitting on his iguana skateboard. And I had my first skateboard was a Gator, Mark Gator Rogowski. So then we'd go in, we'd watch PAL videos, and then we'd go out there and then we'd try and do everything that we saw in the video.
It was a great outlet for kids to be individual and be unique on their own and express themselves on a new canvas,
And everybody that walked down the street that had a skateboard, which was very few and far between, you had something to talk about with. Like, hey, are you going to see the Crucifix tomorrow night?
Yeah.
And of course, the whole town's going to see the Crucifix, and there's a whole little skateboard culture, people outside, and then
Yeah, by the whole town you mean like the whole town of like 20 guys that was into that scene.
exactly. There was no flyers or anything. It was just we were all into the same thing. We were all kind of square peg in a round hole. That was it.
All of us were outcasts.
We were all not nonconformists. We just couldn't find anything to conform to until we found skateboarding.
I came up here to go to college in 1977, and I came up here and there were no skate parks. I had skateboard posters all over my dorm room, and skated around campus, and all the people were like, "Oh boy, great! There's kids skateboarding by my window right now," and then somebody mentioned that somebody had a ramp, and I thought, "Oh wow, great, cool. Let's go meet this guy."
Oh, it started out as a quarter pipe on my back patio. We moved it into the barn about 1978. It turned into a half pipe then, 8 feet wide, about 4 feet of vertical on both sides. Then we had another 8 feet wide, cut it down 2 feet vert, and we skated it pretty much every night.
Well, we would drive for an hour to skate even a decent ramp, and that was 20 feet wide and 9 feet high. Back then, you would be used to PVC coping and nails sticking out all over the place, and the coping being different everywhere you were, and a little bit of flat bottom and small trannies.
We'd stop and have, eat and just goof off or whatever, but we would basically skate for 12 hours straight.
Jason May owns this ramp in Indiana, and Mike Holman, my friend, had just gone to skating. He's like, you got to go down and ride it. And you'd show up and you'd be like, yeah, my friend from Michigan, Mike, was down here last week, and he said you had a good ramp, and said to come down and ride it, and be like, oh yeah, dude, I like that guy.
Freestyle was like flat ground. How many times you can spin your board around, and all kinds of funny, kind of more like a figure skating kind of idea, I guess.
It's a lot of hard work getting some of those tricks, how dorky they look, are really hard. So.
We've all kind of gone through a lot over the years. I hadn't seen Larry in 20 years, and he kind of called me after the Dogtown movie, or got hold of me, and it was great to hear from him.
I remember seeing him riding his skateboard down by the post office downtown Portland, and I talked to him a little bit, and said he was still skating, and it went from there.
There's a bunch of older guys skating now again, and it's just been, I guess it started up in Seattle, and then a guy started a chapter down here. It was called Association of Senior Skateboarders, and I think it was like over 30, guys over 30, and the idea was just to get together, figure out some kind of arrangement so we could have it, someplace to ourselves. It's just older guys, and everybody gets tired, and so there's not kind of the pressure. Everybody wants to encourage everybody else, but not in an aggressive way.
The adults aren't quite as aggravating, but sometimes they can be too, because they're really picky about like what music is playing, or I don't know. But it's so similar to how the kids are that it's pretty insane.
It was Christmas one year, and I went to Copeland Sports to buy rain jackets because it rains so goddamn much here that we needed the big yellow rain jackets, you know, just to fit in with all the Oregonians. So I walk into Copeland's and I see this huge skate shop like in the back of this sporting goods store. I'm like, what's this? And so, you know, and so I'm looking, and oh yeah, I used to skateboard, and I remember going to the guy and asking him, just out of the blue, this was like 2 or 3 years after I had already moved here, and I just, hey, is there a vert ramp around here? And he's like, yeah, I think so. There's like one on Walker or something like that. And I near shit myself because there's like this massive, 40-foot wide, perfect, well maybe not perfect, but really good vert ramp. And I was just floored.
I call Eugene LBG. He's a little brown guy, and he skates really well. He has the best style of anybody I know, and if he doesn't have good style, then he doesn't make it. He'll fall before he does it without good style. That's something I kind of envy about Eugene.
Why am I still skateboarding? I'm skateboarding because I love to do it again. And I know, when I quit and then found it again, it was like finding $10 million on the ground. It was like, what did I do with that? How did I lose that? And so, to me, that was the best feeling.
It's great to skate with those guys. They're both so good, and that pushes me in the way that this doesn't over here. The street guys can skate this bowl, as well as any of us, easily. But when you get out on that big ramp, it takes a different set of skills. And so, the people who are dedicated, who put in the time, can do it.
Well, it's kind of a social activity. It's almost like taking drugs with friends, Not that I know what that's like, but you come and you just have a great time together and you all leave exhausted.
I moved here, I was hanging out with these guys, I was skating again. I was really pretty unhappy with my professional life. I loved skateboarding. I've never stopped loving skateboarding, and I've always wanted to have